Whew. First Doctor got a little mercenary there for a bit, didn't he? Dinosaurs on a spaceship. Overdue Doctor Who continues as we move our way through Series 7, and we arrive at the Chris Chibnall penned Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. I think it's fun. It's ridiculous. It's kind of silly fluff, but it's called Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Like, the title kind of tells you everything you need to know about the mindset to be coming into this with. And I, honest to goodness, like the rollicking adventure feel of it. I like that he has Nefertiti tagging along. I love the dynamic that he has with this great white hunter who thinks he's so amazing, but is clearly just a footnote in history in general. But I love that he has an established relationship with the Doctor, and he'll just gather these folks up for a little adventure. I like the idea of the arc for the Silurians. I like dinosaurs being on a spaceship. I like Rory's dad. First of all, I like that actor. And second of all, it just explains a lot about Rory from the get-go. I mean, it's a guy who's got a spade in his pocket. Sorry, a foldable spade in his pocket. Because why wouldn't you? I love the robots. The bickering robots. It's so Douglas Adams. I love it. I love it to absolute death. These snarky, semi-incompetent, very human behaving robots, but like only in the way that they speak. Everything about... I like that they can speak and interact in such a human fashion, but are still these big clunky things moving around. Because usually when you get into things like, oh, it's a machine, but it behaves so human, they also make it look very human. You know, you get Data, you get things like the movie Ex Machina and things like that. But like, to have something behave so human but look like that, I love that. I've always loved that kind of stuff. That tickles me. I like it. Solomon is a solid villain. David Bradley, as he's channeling a little bit of Filch and a little bit of what he brought to Game of Thrones here. He is very good at being kind of the worst. You know, you just kind of like, oh, you are awful and I want something bad to happen to you. And this is just a very fun episode. I think the issues people have with it are either they just can't get onto the wavelength of the thing, which, I mean, fair. As much as I sort of mocked at the front end this whole sort of, it's called Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, like, get with the program, some people can't. If you're not into Doctor Who for a sort of a lighter adventure feel, then you might not like this. I don't usually care for the pantomime feel of the Christmas specials. Doesn't make them bad. It just means that that is something Doctor Who occasionally does that I don't enjoy. And if that is the case for you in this episode, I can't really argue with that with you. Here's the one major criticism that I will give to the thing. The shift to the more maudlin and sort of darker moments from the Doctor, especially in the climax, they feel misplaced. Because like I said, it's a silly episode called Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. We've got a Triceratops with two grown men riding on it and making it chase a golf ball, for crying out loud. And we're going to have the Doctor put a guy in a situation that is going to result in his death. And do it knowingly. And not even be a case of like the Doctor sets it up so the guy's own actions get him killed. I mean, the Doctor pretty much... The Doctor didn't fire the missiles that blow him up, but that is the only degree of separation that there is between his actions and this guy's death. It's a pretty one-to-one. And I'm not going to say, like, the Doctor should never do that. Well, I mean, the Doctor should never do that. But I'm not going to say the Doctor never does that. And you can never justify it. And the character... Like, no, you can. And even kind of feel like they do to a certain extent, but it is a gear shift, and it's a tonal switch that doesn't flow especially smoothly, given, you know, and it's not just like, oh, the silliness of dinosaurs on a spaceship. We had this assemble a team and go on an adventure feel, and now we're going oddly dark, and we're killing an innocent animal, and like, why? Was this the episode to pull that in? I'm not sure it was. So that's my major issue with it. Now, when I say that's my only complaint, that doesn't mean that the rest of it's amazing. I think that's where I need to be careful. Just because, like I say, I enjoy pretty much everything else that's going on here, and I do, that doesn't make it the best thing ever. It just means that I find it very entertaining. It is a light, fluffy little episode, and especially back when Doctor Who did 13 episodes in a series, it was okay to have a light, fluffy episode that is just there to be fun. It's okay to have a dinosaurs on a spaceship. It's okay to have a Shakespeare code. Yeah, it's okay to have these things that don't further the grander story and aren't a deep dive into characters and aren't delving into heavy themes, but they're just a fun time. The Lodger, there's another one. That's okay. It is okay for every now and then, as long as it doesn't become the default of what the show is, it is okay for Doctor Who to go, let's just have fun for 45 minutes. Again, unless it's going to shove in some not exceptionally fun, let's have the Doctor go a bit dark stuff at the very end. This review is running short for me. I'm not sure I've got too much else to really say about this, though. I find it light. I find it entertaining. I find the dynamics between the characters, both regular and supporting, are all great. They're terrific. I think the villain is effective for the story that he's in. I love the robots. I mean, the effects are cheesy, but I mean, it's a British TV show budget. It's not Jurassic Park. It was never going to look that great, so like, I'll give it a pass for that. And I think the one thing I will say is it does feel like a little bit of a waste on the idea of the Silurians having an arc that all the Silurians on it are dead. I mean, there's a reason for it. It streamlines the circumstances a little bit. Plus, it gives the Doctor a reason to really not be okay with Solomon. But I feel like I would have been interested to see a story at some point about the Silurians having established themselves on another planet, so that we could have somewhere and again, I wouldn't want it to become the norm, but so we could have a Silurian story where them butting heads with the human race wasn't what was going on. Because if you're going to do a Silurian story, not just a story in which Silurians appear, but an actual Silurian story, that is basically the only plot there is to do with them. They want the planet back because they were here first. Humanity's here now. Clash. And the only way to avoid that is to get them off-world. And this sets up that they could do that, but then it doesn't. Because, like I said, they're all dead. I can't remember now if they made any mention of there being more than one arc. I suppose that would be the one way they could get around that. But that's a nitpick. That's honestly, honest to God, that's me filling time trying to get this up to 10 minutes. It is a light, fluffy little adventure story, and that's all it's trying to be, and I think it accomplishes it pretty well. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Have you rewatched it lately? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something on down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Usual stuff. I have a Patreon. If you want to support me on there, it's immensely appreciated. But even if you're not able to, you can still like, subscribe, share this video around, and all that sort of stuff. Or none of it if you really don't want to, because end of the day, you're the council. I'm just running the meetings, and until next time, this council is adjourned.